Good morning, everyone. My name is John Richardson. I'm originally from Montana. I was stationed at Fort Wainwright in Fairbanks, though, from 2006 to 2010, so I have an understanding of the winters up there and the wonderful summers. After the military, I obtained a Bachelor of Arts in Political Science with a concentration in international relations, kind of with a sort of micro concentration within that of Middle Eastern politics from Montana State University. After I graduated, I worked in the university system in several capacities, ranging from recruiting, admissions, registration, and international student advising. I met my wife in Montana, and she brought me back up to Alaska and Anchorage, where I worked for UAA as an academic advisor for a few years. I'd always been interested in emergency management, and after the earthquake happened here in 2018, I guess it kind of opened my eyes to wanting to be a part of the emergency response process instead of just watching from afar. When the earthquake happened, I was alone in my office because I show up to work kind of early. Everything is falling apart around me, and I went home and watched the emergency managers and various organizations, military, law enforcement, police, Red Cross, etc., just do a fantastic job of responding. And for some reason, I kind of felt left out because I wasn't a part of that. So I did a pretty large shift in my career. I became a police officer and aircraft rescue firefighter for the Ted Stevens Anchorage International Airport. I worked there for a few years and then lateraled over to the Anchorage Police Department, where I currently work as a patrol officer. Unfortunately, I won't be able to make the live classes with you all this semester because I work during the scheduled times. But maybe I can eventually take a day off and join you guys. But I look forward to our campus discussions. I'm taking this course along with strategic collaboration. Then I'll have vulnerability and protection in the spring, and I will be done. Although I'm sure I'll come back and take a few classes in the Arctic security for my own personal interest. My MSDM concentration is strategic leadership. Honestly, the concentration on Arctic security seemed a lot more interesting to me personally, but strategic leadership fit better with my professional goals. So that's why I picked it, and I've really enjoyed studying various leaders and theories throughout history in various classes. I've always found it interesting how those in leadership roles can impact organizations. I say roles because I think you need to earn the title of leader of those you lead instead of simply being granted it. I think we all can relate to some people showing up with all the qualifications and experience, but they have an inability to lead, and it completely tanks their team and organization. Whereas others have fewer qualifications on paper, but do have the ability to lead, and the team thrives. Something unique about me that most people seem surprised about is that I'm a fairly decent water skier. I haven't water skied up here yet in Alaska because I don't have a boat or water skis. But whenever I can get down to my cabin in Montana and see my family, I try to get out and water ski. Of the three pathway options I'm considering, the concentration pathway, my 603 paper was on increasing resiliency in the Alaska airport system through aircraft rescue staffing during critical incidents. Basically, there has to be a certain amount of aircraft rescue firefighters and apparatus available, a certain amount of water and foam, etc., in order for the airport to maintain its index and actually land aircraft. And if you don't have that number of people for whatever reason, if they're sick or there's a disaster, aircraft simply can't land. I really enjoyed researching and writing that, but I don't know how much more I can expand on it. Towards the end there, I kind of felt like I was just throwing in kind of filler stuff in hindsight. But I enjoy researching and writing, but coming up with topics is really not my strong suit. One of my favorite books, and one that I really connected with, is Sebastian Junger's Tribe. That book is centered around how we as individuals need a sense of belonging and to be a part of a tribe. Younger highlights that bonds formed during war, disaster, and critical events are sometimes looked back on favorably, and people miss those who were associated with it. So, keeping my concentration of strategic leadership in mind, I'm considering focusing on how law enforcement organizations need to work towards creating a sense of a tribe within the organization through successful leadership for recruitment and retention, perhaps the historical context of how great leaders have succeeded in this realm, case studies on successes and failures, etc. And, I could be more broad, not necessarily just law enforcement, but all, essentially all organizations. Why do some people want to physically or mentally suffer to be part of an organization, even if there's no added pay or benefits from what they're currently doing? For a military, like, people suffer mentally and physically in order to get selected for, like, the 75th Ranger Regiment, for example. Well, the pay is about the same as just a standard infantryman, but people put forth so much effort mentally and physically in order to be a part of that organization. I think it is because of successful leadership. The same thing goes for various organizations too. I mean, people suffer mentally in order to get into internships, things like that, because they want to be a part of that organization. And I think that is because of effective leadership. Law enforcement, if we're going to narrow it down, has a major recruitment and retention issue across the United States right now. It seems they're just advertising money and incentives, which are okay for recruitment, but that's not going to retain people. Good leadership and creating that tribal community is what will retain people. I know many people who've changed careers for major pay cuts, citing leadership issues and lack of belonging within the organization. But with that being said, I'd certainly like feedback on this idea. Maybe it's too focused, too broad, or perhaps I'm completely missing the mark on the assignment. Anyway, I look forward to working and networking with you all this semester, and hopefully I'll be able to make at least one live chat. Thank you.